Hello everyone, this is Professor Paulos Deb. I'm an Associate Professor of Strategic Management at Iimc Calcutta, and today I'll give you a brief overview of the module on strategic management and also talk very briefly about some of the associated modules like HRM and marketing. So as you know, we have several modules like operations, leading by business analytics, marketing, finance, strategic management, human resource management, pharma business environment, IP and related issues for pharma industry, and organizational behavior. Now, strategic management is one of the modules that will be offered in January and February. So it consists of 6 sessions for a total of 18 hours. So let me briefly walk you over the strategic management module. So some of the topics that I intend to cover in that module include things like introduction to strategic management. So we'll obviously begin with an introduction to strategic management, and we will talk about strategic management as it applies to the pharmaceutical industry. So one of the first things that we would be doing is to understand at a very high level, at a macro level, what is the structure of this particular industry. So we will do industry analysis using multiple techniques. One of the starting points could be, Porter's 5 forces analysis. So that's the staple in a strategic management course. But obviously, I want to extend it beyond Porter's 5 forces and apply other techniques to understand the industry better. So that's one of the first things we'll do, understanding the industry, the pharmaceutical industry, as well as related industries. So the pedagogy would involve, a lot of case studies. So I'll give you cases on the pharma industry that you can relate to some of the concepts and the theories that you will learn in class. In terms of other things that we'll do in industry analysis, we'll extend Porter's 5 forces and we'll look at different ways in which an industry can be segmented. For example, an industry can be segmented horizontally. Similarly, an industry can be segmented vertically. So there is a concept called profit pool mapping. It was a concept that was introduced by Bain and Company, a famous consulting firm, and we will discuss the pharmaceutical industry in terms of its vertical structure of profitability. Among other things, I will also discuss the key factors, in terms of competitors, in terms of customers, that really drive profitability in this industry. What are some of the global factors as well as local factors that would drive profitability in this particular industry? We'd also look at things like strategic group analysis. How do you really group firms within this industry in terms of the particular strategies that they pursue? Among other things, we will also look at what are the sources and dimensions of competitive advantage in this industry. So what are some of the generic strategies that firms follow globally in this industry? So what are, is it a cost leadership strategy, a leadership based on the lowest cost? Is it a strategy of differentiation? You're differentiating your products from others. Or is it a strategy based on developing a niche, a focus strategy? So we'll discuss all of these generic strategies when we do industry analysis. Once we do industry analysis, we'll also go and try to understand, what are some of the capabilities and resources that firms need to develop in this industry in order to attain competitive advantage. So the earlier analysis was on the industry side, and now we are moving on to the firm side and saying Are there certain resources, are there certain capabilities, that firms need to develop in order to gain sustainable competitive advantage in the pharmaceutical industry? From there on, we could move, for example, to things like vertical integration and firm scope. So basically, should firms in this industry be vertically integrated along their value chain? And if so, what are some of the benefits of vertically integrating firms, as well as what are some of the costs? How do you really design a vertically integrated company in this particular industry? And what are the various kinds of vertical integration that could possibly work for this particular industry? From there, we could move to other aspects of corporate strategy, such as global strategy. How do you enter foreign markets if you're a pharmaceutical company? Where do you locate production? How do you balance the need for global integration and national differentiation? From there, session 5 will move on to implementation of strategy in a multi-business firm. How do you manage the corporate portfolio when you have multiple product lines? How do you manage the individual businesses? And session 6 will talk about consolidation and divestitures in this industry, trends such as mergers, acquisitions, strategic alliances like joint ventures, etc., that are happening within the pharmaceutical industry. If we have time, we'll also discuss a little bit about product diversification strategies. How do firms in this industry diversify into multiple product markets? We'll also talk about what are the various organization structures that some of these firms have, and what are some of the corporate governance modes that they employ in order to improve governance within their firms. So basically, that's what the strategy module will cover. The marketing management module, which I'm not going to discuss in detail, it will focus specifically on understanding customer needs and the marketing process, and laying down the process of segmentation, targeting and positioning for customers, and on the usefulness of customer segmentation. So everything that will be done, whether it's segmentation, positioning, understanding of consumer needs, or delivering and designing an effective market plan, will mostly be situated within the pharmaceutical and related industry contexts. Then we have a session on finance that would introduce you to financial markets, the understanding of basic financial concepts like cost of capital, capital structure, capital investment, also called capital budgeting decisions, and if time permits, maybe a little bit of cash management and things like project financing. And finally, another related module is that of HRM, or a human resources management, where the instructor will talk about HRM systems, employee recruitment and selection, training, employee performance and reward management, and related areas, if time permits, like employee relationships and compensation design. So I've given you a very brief overview of strategic management, marketing management, finance, and HRM, these 4 modules. I'm sure all of you will find these modules to be very interesting. You will find the whole program to be very interesting, and I hope all of you enroll for the program, and I wish you every success as you do so. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope to see you in class, even if we don't meet face to face. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to interact online. Thank you once again, and welcome to the executive program on general management for Astrazeneca. Thank you very much.